Ken Rollins is Chief AI Technology Strategist at Dell Federal. Ken, thanks so much for sitting down with me here. So kick things off by explaining to our audience this term that you taught me before the cameras got rolling. That's agentic harness. I haven't heard it before. Forgive the ignorance. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so basically it's the system around a model. It's what you put in place in order to allow the model to do tool calling, what you put in place from a memory perspective so it can actually learn over time, not only what your preferences are, but learnings that it does. It's that whole system around a model that enables it to do real work in the real world, as opposed to just providing, regular output like you would normally do from an LLM.
Are we starting to see yet, or could you predict what some of the, mission-oriented benefits for a government agency would be relative to an agentic harness?
Yeah, when you look at it, it gets really interesting because now you can do things like out at the edge. You can enable a small model to actually perform real work and punch well above its weight, in the fact that you can configure it to be long running and learn. So, an agentic harness that uses, like, say, a small Gemma 4 model that runs for like 20 hours can do stuff that you would never be able to do with a single model, and learn over time and figure out what roadblocks it hits, how to back up, how to actually get to that objective. And so when you look at the capabilities at the edge, and then, greatly what can be done at the core because you've got more resources, and the empowerment that it can actually do is really exciting.
What about on the other end of that, the flip side of the coin, something goes wrong? Traceability is a word that comes to mind. Can you backtrack and figure out, where things got tripped up in the process?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the other interesting parts about the harness. You can actually, inside of a harness, record every action, have that output to a JSON file or something. You basically make it so where every decision in the harness gets recorded. And so now you not only have observability and security and all those auditability requirements that we have, but now, especially when you look in terms of, say, a long-running harness, you've got a corpus of data and information that you can use to train that small open weights model, make it even more and more efficient. So you get into a nice AI flywheel effect where that system can improve greatly over time.
Ken, lead me into the human in the loop here. Like, this concept of an agentic harness is revolutionary from a workforce perspective in a lot of ways. To me, it almost puts that government official in a customer position moving into something new. What does that something new look like? What does that customer become?
Yeah, so it's interesting as we move into this phase and we talk about teams of agents, then that individual employee moves from just a consumer of AI to actually being a manager of the different AIs itself. Directing the work, making sure that they're getting the output they want, which really has some really interesting things, I think, because it gets me excited because now we're enabling a bottom-up approach to AI as opposed to a top-driven down, and the people that are closest to the mission really understand that domain, really understand that space, and giving them the tools and allowing them to direct and come up and utilize the capabilities of AI, I think will lead to some really exciting outcomes.